Good evening, everyone. I'm back, and I hope you can hear me, and I'm louder than I was before. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you about a few more things that I need, for me, to tell you about. First of all, you may be wondering, is she a mother? Yes, I am a mother. I have a daughter. Her name is Tasha. Her middle name is Ada. You may see her on Instagram. She does all kinds of wonderful things. And she is my only daughter. She's 34 years old. She did a master's in Spain. She fell in love with a Spaniard. His name is Alvaro. And they married. And she resides in Madrid, Spain. She has 2 young sons, my grandchildren. One is Marco, birthday, let's see, Libra, October 5th, double Libra. And her youngest son, Oliver, born June 29th, double Cancer. My daughter is a Pisces, and Alvaro is a Leo. So yes, I am a mother, and I know what it's like to have raised a lovely daughter. Many of you wonder how many experiences I've been through in my life. To know whether or not I have been through almost everything. And I have. The only thing that I have not gone through is either having cancer or someone close to me having cancer and going through that process. That I've never been through. But I have been through many other difficult situations in my life, including my own self, of which I have chronic pain disorders, and lived with them since 1995. So I know about chronic pain. I understand how chronic pain works in the human body. I understand living with it. I understand living with people who have it. I also understand behavioral disorders. My soulmate girlfriend, my dear Joan, my late Joan, was diagnosed at only 15. I met her at 13 with bipolar. But at that time, they didn't know what bipolar was. So they diagnosed her as manic. Also schizophrenia with the tendencies of suicide. All I know is she was my Joni, and she was beautiful. She stood 5'8". Her eyes were green. Her hair was gold and long, thick. She had a body like a swan. She danced for the Boston Conservatory of Music. She was my best and only dearest friend I have ever had. She loved me unconditionally, never fought, never found fault with me, never argued, never went without speaking to me. Nothing ever disturbed the relationship. Even if I didn't have time to call her, she would always call me and never ever complain. Why didn't you call? Where have you been? What's been going on? Never, never. And she never, ever told anybody a secret. Once you told my Joan, you could confide in her. She had the best advice. She was an angel. And she suffered so much in this life, having bipolar. And because of having this disorder, she lost many of her friends. And so I was her only friend that stayed with her for 35 years and loved her unconditionally. She passed away tragically and suddenly in 2010. I knew by not hearing from her that there was something wrong. The first time that happened, I caught it in time. The second time, I didn't catch it in time. And I lost my Joan. And when I did, I lost a quarter of my soul. I think about her a lot, but I know she's happier where she is because her life here was very, very difficult. And she was such an artist. She could write poetry. She could write short stories. She danced like a gazelle. She was beautiful. And I loved her and I miss her. Joni has a daughter. Her name is Julie. She's beautiful. I don't hear from Julie very often, so Julie, if you're out there and you see me, Aunt wants to hear from you. Thank you. I believe she resides in North Carolina with her father, Joseph. So, yes, I've had a soulmate girlfriend. I also had a soulmate parents. My father was Joseph Massa and my mother was Lydia Massa. Joe and Lydia were soulmates in this life. They were married 71 years. They worked together. They laughed together. They went through problems together. They were a team. My mother was a Taurus and my father a Capricorn, both earth and practical and logic. They helped me so much during their life with me. I don't occupy a lot of earth in my chart. The only placement I have is my north node is in Capricorn. Otherwise, I occupy many air, water, and some fire. And they would ground me. But I watched a soulmate relationship all my life until they passed away, both at 88. 3 months apart to the date, my mother could not live without my father. She literally starved herself. She had over 1,000 elephants that she collected from all over the world. She believed that elephants were very, very special, and she collected them. She believed that they were proud, strong, that they brought luck, and they had to have their trunks up. An elephant with a trunk up, always. And she distributed those elephants mostly to my daughter Tasha, but to everyone else in the family, and I have them as well. When my parents passed away, I lost the ceiling and the floor. I was extremely close to them. I worked with them for over 27 years in the bridal business. I knew them as parents, as friends, as co-workers, as individuals. I understood them, and I worked hard at understanding them. And because of this, much of my family didn't understand the relationship I had with my parents. And it wasn't easy. However, no one would ever understand what it's like to work with Joe and Lydia in a bridal manufacturing company where we made the most beautiful dresses in the world. That kind of bond, that kind of relationship is not normal. And neither is working at Bianchi, as I told you before, with all these wonderful people from all over the world. So I know what it's like to have parents that stayed together their whole life. And their home was the same home. And every time everybody would come to the house, Joe and Lydia, it was like a haven. Somebody would be upstairs taking a nap. Somebody would be eating a sandwich. Someone would be talking to Joe. Lydia was... It was an amazing house of warmth, love, security, and protection. It had a profound effect on all of us. They had a profound effect on all of us. And not only our family, but no matter where Joe and Lydia went, whether it was Florida, or if they took a cruise, or they were in North Conway, New Hampshire, or in Stoneham, Massachusetts, everybody loved Joe and Lydia. Everybody knew Joe and Lydia. They were a Hollywood couple. My father was extremely handsome. My mother was extremely beautiful. They were the perfect couple. And I miss them very much. So I grew up not knowing what divorce was. Do I know what divorce is? Yes. Twice. The first marriage was with my daughter. The second marriage was an old friend I knew when I worked with him. I was 17 years old, worked in a motorcycle business. It was my brother-in-law's motorcycle business. And we worked together. We were friends for many, many years. And we came together, and he helped me raise Tasha up in North Conway, New Hampshire. So both these marriages didn't work out very well. The biggest problem was, for me, was the way they ended. Instead of ending amicably, they ended poorly. The second one was the worst. But both of these marriages affected my credit because my name was attached to their name. So for all of you out there who get married and take on your husband's name, please be careful. One never knows what life will throw us. We all make those wonderful vows and want to keep them, and oh, it's such a beautiful day to get married and everything is wonderful. And then years go by and something happens, we change, or something, we lose something. And we don't stay together, and we feel it's best we part. This is hard for children, this is hard for the couple, and this is hard for the families and friends. But these two marriages affected my credit. So when you attach your name to your husband, you are responsible for the debt, even though you weren't paying the mortgage or equity loans. And you can tell them till they're blue in the face that you were not a part of this, that you had no way known that they weren't paying it on time, it was delinquent, whatever. You trusted them. That was their responsibility. That was their thing, that you did everything else. You did this, you did that. We were a team. So for those out there that are getting married or are married, be careful. And I don't mean this against a man, but in this case, I talk to women and young girls. Make sure you're protected. Make sure you understand what is going on. Make sure you understand the mortgage, understand an equity loan, understand finances, understand what the two of you are doing. And if one isn't good at something, then the other one takes over. But always tell them what's going on. No secrets, no lies, no evading the truth. Because in the end, whatever happens, you're going to be left with the residual effect, even though it wasn't your fault. And the worst thing is to have your credit ruined. It's a 7-year process to go through before it's erased. That's 2 different men, 2 different times. I'm forever in debt. I've talked to them. I've hired people to help me with my credit. There's only so much they will do. And not once did I ever not hold my end up. Have I been hurt? Yes. Do I know what it's like to have a broken heart? Yes, many times. Do I know what it's like to feel like you don't mean anything? That you're not special? That you're not beautiful? That you're not on a pedestal? That I didn't have soulmate relationships like my parents? I know what that is. I know what that's like. So I've experienced what it's like for elderly parents to get old and the process that you must go through with elderly parents. Not easy. In and out of rehabs, hospitals. But you have to go through it. So, to make you all feel more comfortable with me, I'm doing these videos so that you earn a sense of trust before I read. Otherwise, you're not going to know anything about me or what I've experienced. I don't want to keep these very long because all of you are very busy people. The next time I talk to you, I want to talk to you about a spiritual revelation, an awakening that happened to me in 2009 that changed my life forever. This may be a longer video. It will be a very interesting video. And I'll talk about why I created the Michael Jackson series and why I decided to self-publish a book afterwards. This was a 4.5 to 5 year project, totally committed to it. And I'd like to share with all of you, because in 2009, going through what I was going through, there was no way I could have shared what I was feeling and what I was experiencing. I was on some radio stations after the book was published, but today, the communication that we have now, I can tell you the story. So the next time I see you, for all the MJ fans out there, devoted fans, this is going to be your video. And the thing that I want to say most to you now is, I see an awful lot of Michael. He's on Facebook and he's on Instagram, as if he was alive. It's amazing. And what I'm seeing is people wishing and wanting him to be here now with us, going through the issues we're going through. He knew them all. Because we need him. There's something about him that we want. We want him here with us. All I can tell you is this. He's not gone anywhere. He just left the earthly plane. He's in spirit, and he hears every single one of you. And he knows every single one of you, no matter what age, no matter where you live. He knows every single one of you. And all you have to do is call his name. And you'll say, oh, Christ, she's crazy. No, I'm not crazy. All you have to do is call his name and talk to him and tell him you love him and you miss him, and tell him the problems. Ask him to help. Ask him to help in the ways that he was good at. Because I will tell you some of the things that he is profoundly good at. That he is watching over us. He knows the problems we have down here. He understands it. So all you have to do if you feel lonely or you feel you miss him, watch his videos. Listen to his music. Listen to the words in his songs. Listen to his message, because it still rings out. Listen to his voice. It's the angel of God. Listen to your heart and the way it feels when you think about him. And remember, you're not alone. He's around. Just call his name. I'll say goodbye now, everyone. Have a good evening. Until the next time.